G'day and welcome to my channel, and welcome to this video series on making electricity from wood. So in this episode I'll just do the lid, and just like the floor, the lid will be fabricated from 2mm hot roll sheet steel. Anyway, let's get cracking. With the lid, it's pretty much the same scenario as with the floor. I'm having to put in stiffness because the 2mm sheet steel, there is a bit of flex in it. So I've pretty much done the same thing. I've just made up some stiffening bars, so I've slotted them, chamfered the ends. Let's see how this thing fits together. That's the stiffening bars welded into place. Next I've got to reinforce around this hole for the fire tube. The fire tube is going to come down through here, and there'll be a flange on the fire tube which is going to be sitting here, and there'll be a bit of weight in the fire tube, and there is still just a slight bit of flex in the lid around here. So I'm just going to cut up some 5mm flat bar. I'm just going to make some sort of a flange that sits in here, which will then get welded to the stiffening bars, and this thing should be yeah, rigid as. that's the base plate fabricated. You'll see I opted for welding in studs, and which are welded on the back of this plate, and that's purely just so there won't be any holes through into the vessel for bolting down the fire tube. That way that's going to be a lot less potential for leaks. Right, so what I've got to do next, I'm just going to fully weld it on the back here. That's where the base plate and the lid meets. That's just so you don't get leaks in between the lid and the base plate. I've got to clamp it down. There's been a bit of, as usual, there's been a bit of heat distortion here, but anyway, it's all good. I've got an assortment of sockets, which I'm just going to drill some holes and weld these down to the lid. They'll be used for various things like instrumentation and so forth. So I've had a bit of a problem with the dreaded heat distortion. Obviously I didn't clamp this down well enough, and nor did I cool it down sufficiently. So yeah, there's a bit of a buckle here. So I guess I've got to try and somehow shrink this. So I thought I might just run, weld a bit of a bead along here, maybe one or two. I'm not overly confident, but I'm thinking, yeah, that might work. We'll give it a go. Alright, I'm actually a little bit surprised. That actually appears to have worked. Oh, good-o. So the lid is finished. I've just bolted it to the vessel. I haven't applied any sealant or anything like that because I'm not ready for that yet. It's been given a coat of this flame-proof paint, just like the floor. You will see there's a bit of a notch here in the base plate, and what that's basically for is for this toe nipple here, which is for the ignition port, and that's going to be sticking out the side of the fire tube. And should you ever need to pull the fire tube out, that's just so they can make it up through here. That's all that is. The sockets of ports you see in the lid here, they're for various things. Well, what we basically got is we got some 2-inch sockets and some 3/4 inch sockets. The socket you see at the front here, which is tilted forward slightly, that is for the optional future process view. The two 2-inch sockets you see over here is for the option of preheated air. Basically there'll be some, should I ever wish to go that way, there'll be some pipe fittings with a ball valve or whatever here. The air inlet will be in through here, and then down through the vessel will be some flexible stainless steel tubing. So it sort of loops down through the vessel, gets heated by the producer gas. It then comes up through this fitting here, and from here there'll be insulated pipework going up to the top of the fire tube, and thereby preheating the air. Yeah, so whether I am going to go the way of preheated air, I haven't really decided yet. But should I want to try it out, at least the hardware or the ports for it is here. Now these 3/4 inch sockets you see here, they're purely for instrumentation, One of these two here will be for the mammometer. As for the others, at this stage, they got no real use. They're basically for future instrumentation expansion, should I ever need to. Same thing, again, really, it's far easier to put them in now rather than later. Next thing really is, I've got to start fabricating the fire tube. However, before I can do that, there's something else that I need to take care of. The fire tube is going to be bent up on this press brake. As it stands now, I won't be able to bend a diameter small enough for what I need. Either way, either this gets in the way or this gets in the way. So I'm going to have to make up some additional tooling to get the punch away from the jack. So I hope to get that done between now and Christmas. Rightio, I guess, well, we got a lid on things. So if I don't see you before the new year, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I do hope to really get stuck into things in the new year. However, here in Queensland, southwest Queensland, we're just on the outskirts of the capital city, Brisbane. I'm not sure. Things are looking a bit shaky with all the stuff that's going on. So fingers crossed. Yeah, you never know. But until then, cheers. Thanks for watching and have a Merry Christmas.